Hi everybody, this is Mrs. Petrick and welcome back to the JES Kindergarten YouTube channel. This is our very first tips from teachers section. So this has actually been on some of our minds for quite a while, and a lot of it stems from things that I have just learned throughout my parenting journey that have really changed the way that we interact as a family and the way that I personally parent. And usually when that happens, I'm just thinking, why did nobody tell me? So this idea was kind of born a long time ago, but we just didn't have the time and resources to get it put together for you until now. So we just want to reiterate to you guys again, you guys are doing a great job. I know I spoke to all my families yesterday and the conversations were just so uplifting and so positive, and it was just so nice to hear from you guys, and I really am just so thankful. You know, we at Johnson Elementary and especially the kindergarten team know that it takes a village to raise a child, and we are very, very grateful that you share your children with us and you've allowed us to be part of your village. And as a parent, I am grateful that the Johnson community is a part of my children's village also. So you guys are doing a great job. We just wanted to offer some helpful tips while you guys are at home with your children to make this time easier for you and also less stressful for them. So with no further ado, the very first segment of tips from teachers, and that is to structure and make some sort of a schedule for your time together. So I know I've seen posts from several of my Facebook friends kind of on both sides, kids need a break, let them play, don't schedule them to death, or a very, very complicated color coordinated Pinterest version, and I would just suggest trying to meet somewhere in the middle. So in times of uncertainty, especially in the world around us and with things as changing as quickly as they're changing, it's really helpful to think, what can we control? And just kind of having that talk with your child on their level. And so things that parents can control right now is things like bedtime, screen time, get up time. Those kind of normal day-to-day activities are still within our realm of control. And so I would suggest making some sort of a schedule that works for your family, however simple or complex works for you, and maintaining some sense of normalcy. So that might be having a set bedtime still, but maybe it being 30 minutes to an hour longer. I know the schedule that I put in place for my personal children says 8 o'clock bedtime, which is normal, or 9 o'clock bedtime for kids who follow the schedule and don't fight. So that was a problem that we were having, and that's been very motivating throughout the day for me to just remind them, kids who follow the schedule and don't fight get to stay up an hour later. It might be still having, the same morning routine, but maybe it being a little bit later. So I know that with me reporting to the school at 7:30, that means my kids were getting up at 6 o'clock, and we had a more tight morning shift, and now it's a little bit looser that they need to be up and dressed with their beds made no later than 9 o'clock. So I kind of give them that flexibility to do things at their own pace, and that's been very helpful also. So I would suggest setting some sort of a schedule. I know I have seen parents that, talk to their kids and had their kids help them write out, what are some things that you would like to do, and then parents worked in things that were important to them. That might be a quiet time. It doesn't have to be a nap time. I know we even did quiet time in my kindergarten classroom. It was short. It was 10 minutes. They did not have to go to sleep, but they did have to sit. They did have to be quiet. Reading was an option during that time. Coloring was an option during that time. And so that's something that we do at my house also. We always have. I even babysit my nieces sometimes, even though I have one who's just about as tall as me, so I'm not sure who watches who anymore. But I remember last summer there's, we're too old for naps. And pretty soon there was a 7th grader napping, there was 2 5th graders napping, there was a 3rd grader napping, and there was the preschooler napping. So it doesn't have to be called that, but definitely just taking that time during the day to just, be quiet and center and reflect and, kind of maybe leave the morning behind. Some days in my house we need to, leave the morning behind and start over. So I would suggest putting some sort of a schedule together. This is going to cut down on the number of times that you hear, what are we doing next? What are we doing next? Can I do that? Can I get my tablet? Can I get my tablet? Can I get my tablet? They're just going to be able to know and see, and it's going to help your days go by a little bit smoother. It's going to, kind of restore that sense of like security. They know what's coming, they know what to expect. They know when their iPad time, is available if you have that, or, movies, the number of movies, just those kind of things, those are answered. So that kind of some of the reasons why I would be a proponent of putting a schedule together. My other suggestion would be to not reinvent the wheel. You don't need to sit down and, make it super crazy. You could do a Google search. You could reach out to your classroom teacher and see if they've seen something, possibly scroll through social media. I know I've seen lots of different versions available. The one that I personally used and shared was one that was just posted by somebody else, and it is wake up before 9 a.m., a morning walk or yoga if it's raining, just any kind of, physical activity that works for your family. Maybe if you don't have a dog, you don't need to go walk in the mornings, but whatever that looks like for you. It has academic time for an hour with no electronics. So that's, journal writing, workbooks, the packets that your teachers put together for you, Sudoku books, flashcards, just any of those kind of academic activities that are screen-free. On here also had creative time. So in our house, that's Legos or like pulled out kinetic sand or Play-Doh, any of those things where they could create drawing, crafting, cooking. I know I have some students in my class who are really interested in things like crocheting or painting or any of that kind of stuff that we might normally not get out during the day, but now that I'm home and we have more time, I have been able to say yes to the more messy or time-consuming activities. Lunch, chore time is a part of the schedule, and that is a big part of just our household. So maybe if you don't have chores, that wouldn't need to be in yours, but there is a chore time. And on here it included wiping down door handles, light switches, bathrooms, once again, things that are inside our realm of control as we navigate this COVID-19 situation. What can you do, in your house instead of just having them have that fear? Maybe give them that job. Here's what you can do to help keep us, and our family safe. You can wipe the doorknobs with a Clorox wipe, or just kind of giving them a chance to be helpful and feel like they are, like they have some power in the situation. There is a quiet time in here, so it says reading, puzzles, nap. In our house, you can color, you can, do those kinds of restful activities. And I actually model during that time also, so that's when I'm reading my books or I'm not on social media. I'm just hanging out, kind of resting with them in our different areas. It has academic time, and this time is where it says electronics are okay. So working on those apps that your teacher sent, kindergarten specifically, I know we sent out ABC Mouse. I know Reflex Math for some students is a good one for their addition and subtraction. I know Epic. I know for older kids, there's Prodigy, Khan Academy. There's just a ton of resources right now, especially some that are free, that are normally paid. So make sure you reach out to your teacher if you haven't already, because they might have some really great resources or login information to be able to share with you for services that are normally paid, but right now their companies are offering for free. Then there's afternoon fresh air, so things like bikes or scooters or chalk or, walking the dog. Are one of my children's chores is to clean up the backyard because our dog is constantly dragging out toys and trash and just other things. So just getting that fresh air. Dinner, there's a free TV time section, and it says kid showers ×3. That was another thing that I had a friend of mine share, and that we agreed also was within our realm of control. So some of my children didn't shower every single day. But when we were talking about things that we can do to keep ourselves safe or control that they could have, taking a daily shower was one of them, where they could feel like they were doing their part to protect themselves and others and just keep our house kind of germ-free. And so that's something that's on there. And then it has, like I said, bedtime at 8 p.m. for all kids, or bedtime for 9 p.m. for kids that follow the schedule and don't argue. And I was surprised how excited my kids were about this. They were like, are we doing the schedule today? And what's that? And where's the schedule? And I was like, whoa, friends, this is what we do every day and what your teachers are trying to get you to do in class that isn't going quite as smoothly. So it was really interesting to me how excited they were about it and just how much smoother it's made some of our time go at home. And even for me as a mom, I know, when they're doing academic time, I can start, getting lunch ready or whatever. I mean, it's given me a little bit of reprieve from the constant questions of, what can I do, or the fighting, or, tablet, 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 tablet. That's what I hear in my house, when can I get my iPad time? And so it just kind of answers some of those questions. So I have it on the fridge so they can see it. It was on the back screen of my phone so that I could kind of see it. It was easy when I went back to work yesterday to just give it to my husband and say, this is kind of what they've been doing, and, they know what to do, they know where their stuff is. And so I have shared this on my class dojo. I would be interested in sharing it with anybody else, but like I said, I just encourage you to find one that works for your family. Maybe pull your student in, ask them, put some things that they don't normally get to do. Maybe say yes to the things that as a mom can be taxing, things like Play-Doh, things like kinetic sand, things like getting the paints out, just while you have this time at home. So that is our very first tips from teachers. If you have questions or comments about this, feel free to drop them below and we will be answering. If you are in my class, you can also send me a dojo message. I would be happy to share any of the resources that we talked about. And I know I speak for all the kindergarten teachers at Johnson when I just reiterate what a great job you guys are doing and how much we miss you. And I really hope that this helps you make the best of some of your time at home and just makes it more enjoyable for everybody. So have a great day, guys.